You're listening to a Rock Candy podcast.
This is our podcast. We're Andrew and John. We talk a long time. This is our theme song. This is our theme song. This is Magnified for life.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Magpod. Back in that stewed.
I'm Andrew.
I'm John, looking into Andrew's eyes.
This is our podcast, and that's our food lion. And that food lion he's got a Santa hat on.
Yes.
He's jingling his bells.
Mm-hmm.
John, I'm back. We
Yes.
are back in Magnified Studios West
Hell yeah.
for the first time in over 2 years.
Yes.
And for those who are not initiated, Magnified Studio West.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Is John's house.
Yes.
Magnified Studios East used to be my
Right.
place.
I guess
Which
we're
is-
north and south now more.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
so.
the South Pole.
Yeah,
You're the North Pole.
yeah, but it wouldn't be a MagPod recording in person session without a clusterfuck of audio issues.
We got used to Zooming in our quarantine years.
Yeah,
But we figured it out.
we got lazy. We can't rest on our laurels for the holiday special.
No,
Which, by the way, John, we have a bevy of beverages.
we do.
A beverage. That's not anything. I brought some special things to make us some cocktails.
Hell yeah.
Because it's a cocktail I have mentioned on the pod before. And it is an Old Flame. It is Fireball, orange liqueur, bitters, and a Luxardo cherry.
It's delicious.
And it is delicious. What started off as a sort of a joke for myself, I'm like, wait a second.
Hold on a minute.
Hold on just a second.
And
That's the ticket.
From your descriptions of it, it sounded delightful, but I gotta say, it's putting a little old flame in my heart right now. It's wonderful. It's warming me up. It's you nailed it. Well done.
Thank you. Also, I couldn't come from Minnesota
That's right.
and not bring some hams.
Yep.
So why don't we crack some hams?
Think so. Here we go.
Yes.
Oh man. This time when we say cheers, we can truly cheers.
Cheers it.
Yeah, man. Oh, it goes down smooth.
Man.
Hammies with my dude.
Yes.
Christmas coming. A great life.
It's a great time of year. Love this time of year. It's, we've been getting a lot of snow
Yeah.
in Minnesota. I'm not sure how you guys have been faring.
Not so much here.
I
I miss it.
We've had some really weird weather.
Right.
We had some thunderstorms
Yeah.
the other day.
Shouldn't be. Not right.
Yeah. But there was like this thunderstorm warning. It's like, there's going to be like 70-mile-per-hour winds,
Yeah.
as you do
Right.
in
Normal
December.
pre-Christmas weather. Then you guys got like 1.5 feet of snow or something for a
Yeah.
couple days there.
Yeah, we got dumped on, and then like a few days later, it was pouring rain. So
Love a rainy Christmas.
super chill. But why am I here, John? What brings me to the Chicago area?
Number one, to celebrate the season together.
Yes,
Number two,
naturally.
when we got tickets to the show that we're going to together this weekend, it seemed like a lofty idea. Like, we'll see if that happens, but it's happening. We are sealing?
We're sealing.
We are sealing Juliana Theory.
We're dancing on the ceiling. With Lionel, we're seeing Lionel Richie.
That's right. Finally.
Next season 4 is dancing on the podcast.
Yeah, I was like, I'm really trying to think of something. Hello, is it pod you're looking for? Something like that.
Sure.
No, we are seeing. Oh my God. I have had several drinks. No, we're seeing Juliana Theory and Mae performing beloved albums back to back. It's called The Emotion is the Everglue. Jesus Christ. Merry Christmas, everyone.
See, because we're recording to a single track,
Yeah.
there's going to be very little editing on this episode, everybody, so you're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to just rubber baby buggy bumpers. I'm going to exercise my lips and loosen up. The Emotion is the Everglow tour because Juliana Theory is playing our beloved album, Emotion is Dead.
Yes.
May is playing their album, The Everglow. I don't know that album as well, but I, enjoyed May from the little I knew of them. But Juliana Theory, one of my faves. That album, one of my faves. So I'm very pumped to see them together tomorrow.
Yes.
And you'll be able to hear what we think about it because we're gonna do some little podcast magic.
Yes.
And splice in some audio of our live takes at Wat the Show.
Where it's going to be Wat the Show, but
Right.
it's MXPX will not be there.
No.
Mike will not be Wat the Show.
No.
But yes, lest we forget that on original vinyl, our dude Jason was part of getting Emotion is Dead
Yes.
pressed.
Wimotion is dead. as they call it.
Wimotion was dead, repressed to vinyl this year, and so my understanding is that there might be some copies
Ooh.
being sold there. So I guess that's for those people to find out.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yes.
So John, why don't we, since we're just teasing it up, why don't we just jump into that show experience?
Take it away, future us.
All right, John, we are in the car on the way to Bottom Lounge
Yes.
in the city, city being Chicago. And this will be our first concert together since 2019,
At least.
which I think was March 2019,
Okay, yeah.
which is where we also saw MXPX and 5 Iron at the Bottom Lounge as well.
Yes.
And so we're seeing Juliana Theory and Mae, of course, and not dissimilar to the time we saw Smitty and the Newsboys, sort of like a last minute VIP exclusive situation happening.
Yeah.
So
Possibly.
Why don't you tell the folks what went down?
Well, shout out producer Jason, aka releaser of the Emotion is Dead vinyl this year. Mentioned to, some of his dudes that we were on our way. We got put on some sort of list. Apparently there's like an acoustic set, a meet and greet, some other things happening, but that all started like an hour ago. So we may miss it entirely. We appreciate Jason's efforts either way, and maybe, something extra special happened for those who arrive fashionably late.
Yeah. I never really expect this kind of thing to happen, but it's nice to have your boys looking out for you. So we'll see what happens. I have never seen Juliana Theory. I think I saw Mae performing at maybe it was a Warped Tour one year. I don't remember, but it was like they were on this really weird stage and the sound was terrible. That wasn't their fault though. But yeah, we just been hanging out today, had some beers. We got to talk to our boy John Warne, which was also sort of a last minute thing. So lots of stuff coming together.
Yeah.
Last minute.
I was gonna say I've seen Juliana Theory twice.
What?
Once at the Metro, probably right around the time of Emotion is Dead, and once at a record store in Chicago. They did like an acoustic set. That was also 20 plus years ago, so it's been a while.
Wait, did I see the Juliana Theory at the Metro too?
Perhaps, probably.
Because I seem to remember. I wonder if we were at that same show together, because I remember I'm like accessing a memory I haven't accessed in a long time. I'm remembering there are like images of a merch booth with maybe music from another room merch, but yeah, I wonder if we were at that same show together.
Could be, man.
I'll have to look it up and see if I can find any more details. All right, more later after our VIP exclusive pre-show partying with the band. I'm assuming that's what this is, right? You get to.
I think we're gonna end up in an abandoned office building with them afterward. That's usually how it goes.
That's usually but it'll just be me. You'll leave before.
Yeah, sounds right.
It'll be a good time. All right, John. So my voice is a little shot.
Yeah.
We just finished seeing Juliana Theory. I was going hard.
Yeah, man.
So my voice is a little bit thrown, but how did you feel about that set?
It was super fun, man. We did indeed make it in time for the pre-show acoustic set / Q&A, which was very fun to be there for. Couldn't think of any pod-related questions on the fly, such as when did you first hear of Juliana Theory, that kind of thing. But maybe we'll still meet them later. But no, it was super fun. As we were just talking about, they jumped around a little bit in the set, didn't just play it straight through. They were talking a little shit about what's the one song?
Something Isn't Right Here.
Something Isn't Right Here.
Top of the World.
Right. The songs that are more like who and sha la la la. They skipped those ones. Except they did Something Isn't Right Here is sort of like a twice as fast as normal version and a little mini acoustic set. And then they saved We're at the Top of the World for the penultimate song, and they talked about how it had been on Dawson's Creek like 6 times or something, which I didn't realize. But I don't know. I thought it was a super fun set. What did you think?
I also thought it was a great set. I opted to wear earplugs for most of it.
Yeah, it was probably a smart choice. I did not.
It was, emo or not, they were loud as hell.
Yeah.
I felt like they had like some audio issues at times where like maybe things weren't clicking in or like certain instruments weren't.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was sort of weird, but Brett was still hitting those screamy high notes and stuff.
Yeah,
so
man.
That was really fun. Lots of audience participation.
Yes, they. Part of the reason why our voices are gone is that during This Patient's Still Waiting, the big come on part was they kind of dropped out just to the little do acoustic riff a few times. It was like, okay, everybody. He did his little like, here's where we're at in the world right now. I need you to sing along. So he turned the mics out to the audience and everybody just screamed, come on! And you got to scream it through the mask, so it's extra hard. But that was super fun. I'm trying to think of other audience
I may or may not have gotten that on video.
Okay,
so maybe we can post that.
Share that. We'll
post
share
that
some stuff.
Post that to the Patreon or something.
Yeah. We also ran into a listener, Matthew, super cool dude. Still surreal to be at shows and have people be like, do you guys do Magnified Pod? And we're like, how do you know that? But seemed like a super cool dude.
Especially like sort of in the dark, wearing masks in a medium that is like primarily about our voices.
Right, yeah. But thanks to him. I don't know. I had pretty high expectations. Been jamming on this record a lot, waiting for the show, and I feel like they delivered.
Definitely delivered. Mae up next. Not an album I'm as familiar with.
Same.
So we will see how this one goes down. We were under the impression this someone thought that this was going to be over at 10, and it's currently 9:35.
Yeah.
That's not happening. But we will check back in after this next set. And hey, I also want to give a shout out to past Andrew and John. You guys,
What's up, guys?
you guys we are having a good time.
Yeah.
So, talk to you past us later?
Sure.
Okay. All right, John. We are out of the show. We're on the highway. I think if there is one thing we concluded, it's that we are old. Standing for 4 hours is a young man's game.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the other takeaway is that Juliana Theory is the band for us.
Yeah.
It's not that we disliked Mae or their music. I mean, Mae's first record is, if they were playing that record, I would have been way into it. But it just, for me, the Juliana Theory was the draw.
Yeah. They played a couple. Mae played a couple songs off of that earlier record, right before they started the Everglow.
Yeah, they played Embers and Envelopes. I'm not familiar with the first song. Maybe that's on the first song they played. I wonder if that was like from one of their newer records. But
whatever it was, I think I liked those two more than any of the ones from the Everglow. So definitely like fun show, enjoyed it, but just not as much my deal.
Yeah. Yes, I am really glad this actually happened. I know that we were wondering, like, is this going to be a thing? Is this actually going to happen? And, you know, one of the things I will say about Mae that I loved was the guitarist came out wearing a shirt that said "Trans Rights Now," which I was like, and you were like, yeah, having a band from the Christian scene, like on stage with an LGBTQ equality shirt is definitely our vibe.
Yeah, man.
And
Get them on the pod.
And like, you looked at their merch? What was the deal with their merch?
I think they had been offering a specific T-shirt for sale where the proceeds would go towards abortion rights organizations recently. So, also cool.
Also very, very cool. Loving that. And the drummer was wearing a shirt of a British sort of pop rock. I'm not even sure what you would... I'm not exactly sure what to call them, but the band The Vaccines.
Yeah.
And I've got to imagine that was an intentional choice.
That's what I assumed, yes.
Yeah, like, let's get on stage and wear these issues literally on our sleeves.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that. Also, if you guys haven't listened to The Vaccines at all, they're really, really good. Yeah, I think we're going to go back to your place and continue hanging. We'll see if there's any additional potting, depending on what condition we're in.
We will see.
So, if not, let's throw it back to Past Us.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Wow, it sounds like we had a lot of fun at that show.
Oh, man. What
memories we had.
What memories. A night we ne'er will forget.
Yes, we'll find out how it goes later / in the future. In the past, anyway. I'm out of practice.
I think we just ripped a hole in the space-time continuum.
Doctor Strange is there. He's bringing in some other Spider-Man.
Marty. What happens to us at the Juliana Theory show, Doc? What do we become, assholes or something?
Maybe.
No, it's the Everglow, Marty. Something has to be done about the Everglow.
Where we're going, we don't need Mae. I don't know.
Where we're going, we don't need Wimotion.
That's better. Yes. Fun show, presumably. And also, we got some fun stuff coming up today. We got our albums of the year over here.
Oh, hey.
We're eating some hot sauce over here.
Hey.
That aforementioned Grave Robber, I Believe in Ghost hot sauce. we're gonna bring on Jenny, my lovely wife, in a minute here to eat some hot sauce with us. And
is that the 6-timer? Is she a 6-timer?
She must be, right? Yeah.
I feel like she's been, because I feel like we talked about her being a 5-timer.
5-timer, right? She got her smoking jacket.
She got her jacket. Yeah. So I feel like she is very easily, she's getting out ahead of everybody in terms of recurring guests,
right?
On the pod.
And I think for your 6th time, you get the gift of a scalded tongue.
Yep.
Via hot sauce.
Yes.
So we'll get to that in a minute. We will also get to the Hangnail EP, Christmas hymns, that we're covering today.
Yes.
Threw a bit of a curveball there, where I know we said last up we were going to dive into their self-titled debut. But we figured the timing with this Christmas episode coming out was going to be perfect to talk about their Christmas hymns record, which we love.
Yes.
And we'll get into. But perhaps some other Christmas surprises along the way. No, we'll see what happens.
So, John, with Christmas right around the corner, next week even.
Yep.
What do you guys have planned? What are you doing? You're going to be sitting around the fire with the fam? Are you going to be doing any traveling?
We will be doing Christmas Eve with family here, my in-laws, gathering around the fire at Jenny's folks' house, which we haven't done in quite a while.
Sure.
It's been a while. And then next day, Christmas, quiet at home here, just us, gathering around our fire, maybe watching some Garfield Pet Squad or whatever. Space Force. Yeah.
Or whatever.
When Andrew arrived tonight, my kids were watching Garfield, which for those of us who grew up on Garfield, the animated series looks pretty different these days.
Oh my God.
It's like CGI, and
it's
in this particular case, he had a superhero team around him, and they were in space, and he was jacked.
A jacked Garfield is not a thing. Not a universe. The Garfield multiverse is not something I expected to exist when I walked into John's house, and I was greeted with this. And
Merry Christmas and a jacked Garfield to you, I said.
It was truly. I mean, the obliques on Garfield. He gets
those reps in.
He gets those reps.
Kicking Odie off the table all the time. He grows those muscles.
He doesn't skip leg day.
No. Anyway,
and the multiverse, John Arbuckle had like really unfortunate goatee,
gross
facial hair. It was awful. It was not a good look for anybody. But
bummer for my dude, John.
That which also begged the question, which we were talking about, you, me, and Jenny. How old is John Arbuckle supposed to be?
It's an important question.
Like,
according to the animated Christmas special that we watched afterward, which I grew up on, anywhere from like 18 to 45, seemingly. They were very excited, he and his
that
brother
coveted
Doc Boy.
demographic.
Yes, exactly. Everybody listens to him, a cis white man, ages 18 to 45, and his beliefs about cats. Anyway, we'll probably, maybe we'll watch some Garfield, but we'll just be here on Christmas, and then next day or two after that, we'll be heading up to Minnesota. So be there for a week or so.
Beautiful.
Hopefully we will hang.
Yes. Yeah.
How about you?
I will be with my fam. We are doing, I think, maybe for at least the third year in a row, Christmas Eve tacos at my brother's place.
I love that.
I think at some point we decided we don't need to do Thanksgiving 2.
Right.
It's like Thanksgiving 2.0. It's like, it's a lot of the same stuff, except maybe it's ham or whatever. And
tacos is so perfect because you can cater to just about anybody with it. Yeah. And who doesn't love tacos? It's outstanding. Near soul.
And so we're going to be doing that. And then we'll have Christmas at my parents' place. And then Brian and his family will come over in the afternoon.
You got some onesie jammies? Ready to go?
Probably.
All right.
Probably. I mean, I feel like at some point me wearing my red union suit is like, I don't know. It's just
Are you in John Arbuckle territory?
I had this red union suit that I would wear every Christmas morning for a long time, and there's just a point where like Christmas bulge is just not appropriate. Because it's like sort of like an underwear,
Right,
but
right.
for your whole body, and
Yeah.
so it's just like it doesn't leave much to the imagination. It's like
Sure.
nobody needs that on Christmas morning.
Send us pictures of your Christmas bulge and use the hashtag Christmas bulge to share with the Magnified Nation.
Open up that Christmas bulge package.
That's right.
What did Santa leave under your tree? I don't know.
There's something there.
Something, I guess. Yeah, but I'm probably just going to be, during this time off, probably watching a lot of TV, movies, video games, because the 29th is when I have my rescheduled vasectomy.
Ah, yes.
So I'm going to be doing some just low-key chilling in these next couple weeks. So
It sounds nice. I mean,
apart from the removal of things from my testicles.
Yeah, the watching stuff while you recover sounds nice.
I'll have to catch up on that Saturday morning
Yes.
animated
All-Star Hits.
Saturday morning.
AKA Smash.
Yes, the Kyle Mooney TV Netflix limited series.
Yeah.
And it's just I've been watching Kyle for, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, since before he was on SNL and he was with his sketch group Good Neighbor stuff with Beck Bennett, who
Right.
I think has left SNL this season.
Right.
But Kyle is just that perfect sweet spot of just absurd and irreverent and dark. He just has that. It's just I love everything that he does. He's just he's awkward and weird and bizarre. So you've watched the whole series?
Yes.
Okay.
It's only like, I forget if it's 6
think
or
it's-
8,
I
but
think
they're
it's
all like
8.
20 minutes or
Yeah.
Anyway, but if you have a love for 90s cartoons,
If you grew up in that late 80s, early 90s
90s,
era
yeah.
of Saturday morning cartoons.
they really nail the particulars of the look and feel of a lot of those shows.
Yes.
And he plays two twins, surfer dudes, who introduce the cartoons and slowly sort of devolve throughout the season of the show into a drama that unfolds. But anyway, Saturday Morning All-Star Hits, a lot of fun. Kyle Mooney, we've talked about Brigsby Bear, right? Have you ever seen that?
I haven't seen it.
You have to see it, dude. It's so good. Mark Hamill's in it too. It's wonderful. And speaking of watching things and of Christmas things, have you watched Hawkeye at all?
I have blown it on Hawkeye.
Okay.
I haven't watched Hawkeye yet.
This is
so
good. You can just binge them all.
No spoilies.
No spoilies. I think there's only 6 of those. They've done
Okay.
5. There's one more as we're recording. And Christmas themed. A lot of fun, I think. So you can blow through those fast.
Perfect. I'm stacking up all my TV movie homework.
That's right. Garfield, Smash, Hawkeye.
I mean, the big 3.
All right, we heard the ding of the oven. That means our chickenless chicken is ready to go. That means my lovely wife Jenny is joining us momentarily to taste some hot sauce. So to lead us into this hot sauce, I think we got to hear some Grave Robber Christmas to get us in the mood.
All right, let's have yourself a scary little Christmas
Yes.
by Grave Robber.
Off of the 2019 EP Scary Christmas to You.
It's got a a bloody grave robber logo and
Yeah.
a skull, skeleton Santa, I guess.
He's having a great time.
He's very happy.
Highly recommended. As I mentioned on a previous pod, I went to see them do a Christmas show, and while I was there, I picked up some I Believe in Ghost. I Believe in Ghost. Kraft hot sauce that Grave Robber has produced. Jenny is hanging her head and laughing at me in embarrassment for this whole endeavor that her husband is a part of. And I just want to read the copy on the hot sauce
please do.
label here. I believe in Ghost will attack your tongue with the horrifying burn of 1,000 torches from the intense heat of boot jolokia ghost peppers, coupled with the frighteningly flavorful citrus tartness of fresh lemons and limes. Do you dare proceed towards the horror that awaits you? Be afraid. Be very afraid. And it has a heat index here of 4 out of 5 flames.
Yeah, I was just reading that. I'm very afraid.
It's going to be great. So how should we, should we do this hot one style with a little, we dab a little, or what are we thinking? Should I create a little,
Sorry.
Jenny is regretting
No, it's going to be
Looking
great.
for the door. I did not see the 4 out of 5 flames. I don't think I've...
Give it a little smell, though. It smells
great.
lovely. Nice bouquet on there. I
That's
suggest we make little pools.
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna go.
Okay,
Always
straight
going
on there.
On the chickenless
All right,
chicken.
I'm putting it on the chicken.
Wow,
Ooh.
you are not sparing
Oh,
Ghost
man.
Pep.
We gotta go hard.
Ooh, no, I would like to dab.
This is the Christmas season.
You
gonna
can do
make-
whatever you want on yours, honey, but I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
dab.
make a little pool.
Yeah.
We'll dab it in there.
What did you guys do the last time you did a taste test?
Vomited.
Well, I mean, like in terms of, did you dab or did you smother? And
No, I think we dipped.
Yeah,
It was. I think we did vegan sausages.
Did you
Yes.
tape it? I mean, taste it? I'm already...
Jenny is wasted.
What did I have of yours, Andrew?
You had an old flame.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah,
I
we
haven't
already
gotten
talked
to the maraschino cherry yet. I was saving that for after.
Please
Delightful.
do.
Hoping I don't vomit.
It's
No, you
a
won't find
Luxardo cherry. I spare no expense for the
I don't even know
cocktails.
that's so out of my league. I don't even know what you're saying.
Sounds fancy.
Fun fact: I used to get maraschino cherries for Christmas because that's how we rolled.
You love them.
I do love them.
Well, this will be the best one you've had.
Okay, great. No, but I don't even know what I was. I slurred some word and now I don't know.
Last time we did this, we had a variety of hot sauces,
Oh, yes.
which is what caused me to...
Right. I was gonna
Make
say,
gross
do you ever
sounds.
just taste it with your finger or anything?
No, I
I
think
don't
that
think you
like-
want to do that
is-
because then you're going to touch your eye later, probably.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think what happened with last time, John, is if I remember correctly, you tasted the hottest one. You're like, oh, it's not too bad.
not too bad. And then I went back for another.
because it's a slow burn.
Because-
and that was the mistake.
Like Icarus, I flew too close to the hot sauce sun. Hubris overtook me, and then I made horking sounds.
What was this? Was this in person?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
3 years ago.
This is a long time ago.
What is
been a
what
while.
is time?
I
Okay. Oh, I have
say
a fork. That's
I say we.
fancy.
I
I
say
got-
we dive into this bit.
Look at this. My hot sauce has entirely soaked in.
Ooh, it's gonna be tasty in that chickenless chicken.
Let's go for it.
Gosh.
Let's do it. Here we go. Now, so far, not overwhelming. But I feel like it's coming.
I will say, these vegan chicken wings
Good, right?
from Trader Joe's.
Thanks, Trader Joe's.
Not sponsored.
Not a sponsor. I wish.
Get at us. We've talked about Trader Joe's.
So much.
As you should.
All right.
Okay,
the heat
I was-
is building a little bit.
I think I had a lot more chickenless chicken in my bite, so I don't mind that.
You want to dab in there?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I'll dab again.
I'm gonna cheer you on to Jingle Bells.
Thanks, honey.
I need a little bit of the hams.
Get that hams. Please don't puke on Mike.
I will try not.
I gotta say, very tasty.
It is tasty.
Way to go, Grave Robber.
It has a heat level for me that is, it's definitely spicy.
Yeah.
It's definitely lingering on the tongue, but it's not so over the
Unbearable,
top that
yeah.
it's just I'm not miserable.
Definitely not.
I mean, it's got some heat.
Nope.
It does.
No, you got to be strong like a woman, John.
That's right.
That's right.
Woman up.
Strong like mommy.
Strong. Wait, he didn't say mommy. Milo said strong. Be strong like a mom.
Strong like mom.
Strong like mom. Not like
Be
a mom.
strong like
Strong
mom.
like mom.
Strong
Not
like
like any
mom.
mom. Milosh. Be strong like mom.
Be strong like mother.
We trained him to say that, and then when he repeated, we were very proud.
Milo is his Russian accent is very much on point.
He probably has one in him. Did you enjoy cuddling with him tonight?
He so the boys
Say
were
yes or no.
the boys were very excited
Yes, they were.
to have me here, and Milo is
When Andrew came in the door, they both said, "He's here!" like you were Santa.
well, and Milo's over Christmas, so
So you're still
It's
a
supposed
hot
to-
ticket in town.
It's movie night in our house, and throughout the month of December, we usually rock a Christmas movie. It was Milo's turn to pick a movie tonight, and as I mentioned earlier, he chose Garfield Paw Force or
He
whatever.
chose poorly.
He chose poorly and did not choose a Christmas movie.
Are you giving or what is
sorry,
happening?
You dabbed me?
I guess you don't want this.
yeah.
Whew. It's not. I'm not.
More?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to take control? I feel like I'm not dabbing properly.
No, it's a slow pour. It's
It's a slow pour. This is not overpoweringly hot. I say as I'm wiping the sweat off of my forehead. It is hot. How does the heat index relate to the
I
Schofield?
think they're full of it.
the Scoville.
Oh,
It's hard to. I mean, ghost peppers are up there. They're not. They're hotter than a habanero. They're not as hot as a Carolina Reaper.
Okay.
So.
Well, what's misleading about this is in order of ingredients, they start with distilled vinegar. Mm-hmm. Oh, then they do go to ghost peppers, which is what you were just talking about, and then red habanero peppers, which means ghost peppers are more prominent.
Yeah.
Yep.
To your point.
But
Yep.
it's very on brand for Grave Robber to have a ghost pepper in their hot sauce, so I support that.
in ghosts.
I believe in ghosts.
Take me to a haunted house.
No, I thought I was going to be like needing
Yeah.
some help.
No, this is very good. So for folks out there who might want to try it but are perhaps concerned about their tender tongues, you can order this on their website, and I would recommend doing it. It's really tasty.
Yes.
It is really good.
It was good.
Produced with Gemini Crow Sauce Company. So perhaps it's one of those deals where bands or brands or whatever hook up with a company to help produce it. So.
Sure.
Anyway.
Good stuff.
Just make sure you shake well in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I know.
after
I don't
opening.
know if I shook it well to begin with. Well, nothing says Christmas like a little hot sauce.
Well,
Now
I
that
mean, as I was saying before Jenny arrived, I am having Christmas Eve tacos. This would go excellent
Oh.
Perfect.
on some Christmas Eve tacos.
Is this a new tradition?
No, I think this is like at least the third year we've done it at my brother's place.
I support this.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's a great idea. Like, I told John, who needs Thanksgiving 2.0? Just do something new. Switch it up. Do something you can cater to anybody with tacos.
John cannot stop wiping
I'm just
his
wiping my
forehead.
head, okay? But I'm doing pretty good.
I think I'm doing better than you are.
You're better than me. We got it. Jenny, what are some Christmas
Ooh.
musical memories?
Oh my gosh! Obviously, you know
Amy?
exactly what I'm going to
Amy
talk
G?
about.
Talking about that Tender Tennessee Christmas?
It's all about Amy Grant, Tender Tennessee Christmas, and then tied with Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker. And a fun fact:
Two big stalwarts of classical music.
one fun thing, I don't know, fun with a lowercase f, I guess.
Like
fun,
the band.
fun thing that we did growing up was we would watch we would listen to Tchaikovsky's.
Tchaikovsky. Sorry. Not to
What?
be that guy.
Is it Tchaikovsky?
Yeah.
What?
I'm just here to
Are
bring
you
the truth to you.
serious?
It's spelled TCH.
It's Tchaikovsky?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Is it Amy Grant?
Yes. Please pronounce it in traditional German.
No.
Yeah.
No, wait,
now,
hold on.
now you're
I
going back in time thinking
I don't know,
how many people
how many
heard me
people
say
I thought I was impressing
how many
with
people
that?
heard say Tchaikovsky?
Well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Oh, thank God.
Am
Yeah,
I
I
the
think you might be
asshole?
wrong.
I don't think I am. Hey, Siri. Who scored the Nutcracker?
Here's an answer from WorldAtlas.com. The Nutcracker, choreographed by Marius Petipa. and Lev Ivanov to a score by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky. Brr, brr, brr.
Okay. Well, I think my lady is Australian, and I think she pronounces it whatever I was saying.
Utopia. Tchaikovsky. Down under.
Okay, we had a really fun
nutcracker.
Fun tradition where we would listen to whatever the hell you're talking about, however you want to pronounce it. Dun 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 dun.
The correct
dun,
way?
dun, 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 dun. And then we would watch football, and we would mute the football game.
Mm-hmm.
This is like pre-concussion awareness and all this stuff. We would enjoy ourselves.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Concussions, bah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
But it was funny, not because of the concussions, but because sometimes the music and their movements would match up, and it was very delightful.
Sure.
It's like they were doing the dance of the sugar plum
Exactly.
fairies.
A lot. I mean, this is not that secretive anymore, but a lot of football players do ballet.
Sure.
There you go.
And
know-
that is how we celebrated Christmas.
You know, why don't you turn your shit off, Andrew?
I'm sorry. I was
Just
trying to. I was trying to take it off mute because of Tchaikovsky.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yes, as we've mentioned on the show, I arranged for an interview for the magazine I work for with Amy Grant that my friend and colleague
Who wasn't invited?
Megan did, and she this weekend is in Nashville seeing an Amy Grant Christmas concert.
Very exciting for her.
Talk about a tender Tennessee Christmas. So, shout out to all the.
I'm not bitter.
We'll go someday.
Okay.
Shout out to all the Amy Grant heads out there. I'm starting to sweat a little more.
I feel like it has like the half-life was like, you know, those first like 4 to 5 minutes were the hottest, but I feel like it peaked.
Yeah, it's fading.
Yeah, it's fading.
I just keep eating it. I think I'm hungry.
Go for it.
Well,
Get that
these-
hot sauce.
I am. I'm
I mean
both.
these nuggies, these tendies, they got like you see like whole grains. You see some like oats
Yeah,
and
it's
shit
like
in there.
healthy.
They're
It's
very
like
tasty.
oatmeal.
This is basically a bowl of oatmeal.
I'm gonna put a little.
Put some fucking raisins and
I believe in ghosts in my oatmeal tomorrow morning. Start my day off right.
start your day off with grave robber.
Yes. Well, any parting thoughts, darling, about Christmas or music or hot sauce?
Those are big themes. Wow. Why do I want to hang out in hot sauce for some reason? I don't,
What was your favorite childhood gift?
maraschino cherries.
That was your favorite present?
I don't remember my Christmases. I was too busy watching
You didn't
Tchaikovsky.
You didn't get an American Girl doll.
Yeah, that's a sore subject. Yes, every year I would get the American Girl catalog. I think it came out a couple times a year, and I would circle things I wanted, and I would have my little Casio calculator, and I would like indicate and I would add up all the things that I had marked in the catalog of what I wanted, and it would come out to like $1,000. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna cut out like, $6 dolls or whatever. And I always just came back to I wanted the Molly doll. That's all I wanted. She is
Which
like,
one was she?
She was World War II.
Got it.
She was on the America's home front. They had a victory garden.
Okay.
They were rationing sugar. And she was making quilts for the troops or something. I don't know. It was very like
You just liked that era, sort of.
yeah.
Yeah. She had some style.
No, she
No.
was not. She had
mean,
like glasses and kind of nerdy.
I feel like there were a
but I
lot
never
of
got her, John. Sorry, Andrew. So maybe if you wanted to
Hot
redeem
mic.
my Christmas.
hot mic.
Sorry. You said to speak into it.
So I feel like the American Girl dolls, like a lot of those, was it the American Girl dolls that like a lot of them had depressing backstories?
Oh yeah, they were horrible. I mean, like,
This is all about like American history.
well, yeah, and it's very like, let's say pretty whitewashed American history.
Sure.
I mean, I will say I did learn a lot about American history through the American Girl doll experience because I would check out their books from the library.
through imperialism.
from the library with my parents, begrudgingly tax spent dollars. So I never got a Molly doll. It's fine.
Yeah. What we're hearing you say is you'd like to get some Molly for Christmas.
I don't know what Molly.
Grade A Molly.
Grade A,
Molly?
just
Drugs.
I mean, I know it's drugs, but is that pot? What is that?
no,
Oh, darling.
no.
Okay.
Just
Talk about how impressed you all are with my hot sauce.
Yeah.
I'm
killing
not
it.
sweating.
That last...
John has a glistening
I might
brow.
not know
Listen,
what Molly. You're
I'm
also
wearing a
under
hoodie.
Honey, you're
I'm under a
that
light.
Yeah.
Got blinking lights on
Yeah,
my
you're
neck
wearing
that
a
are kind of warm.
sweatshirt and are you wearing 2 sweatshirts?
No, I'm wearing a shirt and then me and Andrew's Halloween faces
Okay.
on a sweatshirt.
Okay.
So are you saying that even though it's December, people can still
I am
Ooh,
saying
yeah.
get Magnified Pod swag?
at magnifiedpod.storeenvy.com. That's right.
Great plug, Jenny.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah, it looks great. Everyone should get it.
It does look, I mean, that looks pretty good.
I would just like to say that I wear my MagPod muscle tee. Is that what it's called?
Did you get the racer back?
Racer
one?
Yes, the racer back.
Yes.
Yes, that
You
is
work out and
that
stuff.
is it's like a 4-season room. It's good all seasons.
Hell
Yeah,
yes.
Love to hear that.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we should make a hot sauce. That might be,
Ooh, yes.
How do you make?
We got to contact Gemini Crow.
I thought we
think
could
we
do
could make it on our own, honey.
Sure.
that.
Bottle
That's
it and sell
What
it.
do ghost peppers
that's-
look like? Are they white?
no. I feel like
What color are they? No.
I think. Well, I know. I'm trying to think if I feel like they're just a red, but I'm also thinking of the Carolina Reaper that looks like Satan's heart.
Ooh.
The Carolina Reaper is one of the most terrifying looking peppers.
It's a cool name, too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was created by Smokin' Ed Curry.
Yeah, John. I mean, who are you, Andrew? You're right.
It's
That's
red.
right.
It is a red pepper.
Yeah, but yeah, look up the Carolina Reaper. It looks terrifying. Ed Curry from the Puckerbutt Pepper Company, he has created a lot of.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that terrifying? Look at that tail on it.
It's pretty weird. There's
Yeah.
weird texture going on. Yeah,
Yes.
it's got a big old bad boy tail.
Yeah, it's horrifying and aggressively hot. But yeah, he creates all kinds of. Oh, is that the chocolate?
Chocolate.
Yeah, doesn't taste like chocolate.
Yeah, I bet. Currently the hottest pepper in the world.
This is a very dumb question, but do squirrels have taste buds?
There's some animals. Have you heard of yellowbird hot sauce? Mm-mm. So the thing with yellowbird is that there's like a kind of bird that they eat hot peppers and they just will eat
They're
them
fine.
because they can. They
Right.
don't have. There's
Yeah.
nothing in them that like detects
Yeah.
that spiciness. So I don't know. I don't know about squirrels, but I imagine if you have some kind of do squirrels have
Right.
tongues? I imagine they do.
I think they do. Folks, if you've seen a squirrel tongue,
Have you hit us up?
use the hashtag squirrel tongue.
It's such a weird
Squirrel
question.
tongue would be a good band name.
I've never.
Kind of gross. But
Squirrel tongue.
yeah. I can see it.
What's up, motherfucker? Open up this fucking pure school door.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Did you ever get a Cabbage
Merry
Patch doll?
Christmas. What?
Did you ever get a Cabbage Patch doll?
Yeah, of course. I feel like
did
that was like an
too.
80s rite of passage.
And I don't just mean Punky Bruiser,
Yes.
who's our shared son. I had one growing up. Did you have a glowworm? That was another big one.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Because
So
you know why? Because they were a lot cheaper than. Do you know how much
American Girls.
American Girl dolls retail? I'm just gonna keep coming back to this, Mom, in case you're listening, which John doesn't want you to do.
Every
You're,
time
like,
she's like, "Oh, I
horrified.
need to listen," I'm like, "You don't."
No, you don't. They were $89 when we were like in
a lot.
3rd grade. So what
Plus,
is
you
that?
bring them to the store and get all their
No, you
accoutrements.
don't. That was before. This was the original. Like, I was OG American
alright,
Girl doll. Okay. It
Didn't
was
you
before all that?
before like the tea parties and shit?
Yeah, that was bullshit. But what they did do is they did have like, you could kind of like get their hair. You would do like an at-home hair thing,
Okay.
DIY, less money, but still it's a lot of money.
What would you feel?
But Cabbage Patch dolls were the bargain.
Yeah.
You can go on eBay right now
And get Molly for
Get-
$90.
for like $100
$90.
bucks.
It's the same as they used to be. I want a discount.
She looks
Do you
good.
think she's fashion? Okay,
What's her deal?
She's kind of
Andrew, what's her deal?
What's her deal? I don't know. I feel like she's a child.
I mean,
She was
from World War
11.
II.
Yes.
if she's from World War II. She's old.
Oh my god.
Andrew came upon a
Bleep.
topless picture of Molly the doll.
Why? This is
Okay, so I feel like
citizens
The
arrest.
FBI is coming.
no. I was saying when I said that she looks good, I'm like the condition.
That was when she was wearing clothes.
No, I'm saying the condition of the doll looks good.
Sure
Yeah.
you are.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Why
Why
are they wearing her underwear?
Why are they showing close-ups of the doll's ass?
We're in a weird
This is the weird part of the
rabbit hole
internet.
that we
I am-
don't want to.
Regretting sharing this memory.
Anyway, if anybody has a Molly and some Molly that they want to send to the Potter household, please do.
Yeah, well, John and I will take Molly on
yeah.
the pod.
Jenny will take her.
Yeah. I mean,
Jenny will take the Molly doll.
Yeah.
Right.
John and I will take the
we'll
Molly.
Take some Molly.
okay.
Um,
Do we think we should get Milo the Molly doll
for you.
for us?
Yeah.
Yes, we get it for Milo.
He just the stuffed animal of choice was his little baby doll tonight.
He does. He loves stuffed animals very much.
And
I did
dolls.
as a kid. I had stuffed animals for a long time.
Yeah, good. I'm really hoping these investments last because he has like 87 right now, and he
Yeah.
told me the other day
He counts
when
them.
he gets like 190, then he's gonna start giving some away. And I'm like, there's
Yeah, too
the
many.
generous Christmas spirit we're all looking for.
Well, on that note, thank you for joining us. Any parting thoughts?
No, I just got like a whiff of the heat, and it was.
Have that last
Exciting.
bite. That's for you.
Oh gosh. Any parting thoughts?
This
I
is
have
we figured out 6 timers. You're the first 6 timer.
Well, was I even on the 5th? Did that even like come through?
Was that the 5th? I feel like
Maybe
The
this
live.
is 7.
What?
Maybe this is 7th timer then.
What?
Who knows?
because
Anyway,
there was. I mean, there was, the wine. There was the fixer upper. There was the talking about racial justice.
yeah.
There was talking
Enneagram?
Enneagram.
on the Patreon.
Yeah. Subscribe to the Patreon.
Yes.
Support these poor gentlemen so that I can get a Molly doll.
That's our next tier.
Yes, the Molly doll tier that specifically gets Jenny.
/ your own hot sauce thing. You got to invest in the hot sauce
I like
recipe
this.
development.
Ooh, maybe we can start a GoFundMe to like start a Magpod hot sauce.
I like this idea. Pogs and hot sauce coming 2022.
Wow.
That's
Man, 2022. Good Lord, help us all.
Thank you, darling.
Oh, okay.
Jenny's
Thank
flying
you.
away on her sleigh.
There she goes.
Bye. We
wow,
love
she's-
you.
She's really flying on that sleigh. Those
hauling ass.
those reindeer. Holy shit!
Oh my gosh.
Bye.
Bye.
You're ruining the illusion. You're supposed to be on the sleigh.
Goodbye.
We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. Nothing wrong with misfits.
So Jenny is a delight.
Yes.
What's her deal?
Son of a bitch.
I can't help it.
It's okay when it's about Molly, not about my spouse.
Fair. Molly is still a child.
If you say so. I think she's a haunted.
Yeah, I mean,
Ghost.
is at this point. Yeah, at this point, yeah, Molly is maybe, like a 90-something-year-old ghost.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Sign me
Gross.
up.
I mean, it's so like in Ghostbusters, Ray gets blown by a ghost.
He sure does.
Yeah.
Classic scene of a
Children's
PG
movie.
family comedy.
When did that come out? Before or
PG-13.
after Raiders?
I think it was before people were like...
No. Temple of Doom.
Right.
Temple
that
of Doom is the movie that caused
PG-13.
PG-13 to become a thing.
Yeah, I think it was before that.
Okay.
Before... It was Dan Aykroyd going cross-eyed while getting ghost blown, that they were just like,
Ghost blown.
Enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny to me that there that in the film world they're like, I mean, there's like PG used to be like it could be a family movie or
Right.
it could be like
Jaws.
totally inappropriate.
Right.
And, getting ghosts blown.
Exactly. Well, that
Hey,
was fun.
so you got your beer over there?
I do. Is it round 2?
Yeah.
I think so.
So what do you got over there?
I have a Andrew supplied weird beer. Straight from Minnesota.
Yes, it's a Minnesota brewery.
From Bent Brewstillery. Have not been there. We got a Snackery, a hazy daiquiri style sour ale with fruit. Now, when Andrew read this to me, he said it contains yuzu, how do you say that? Montmorency cherry, and Persian lime. Local malt and exotic fruit provide notes of bright spice, musk, mandarin orange, fruit leather, berries, and strong, fresh green citrus. Sounds delightful.
Yeah. I can't think of a more
Pretty good.
John Pottery beer. Just like, let's throw in a
weird.
bunch of random shit in here. Make
I
it
like
a
it.
sour. And
Pairs well with our spicy hot sauce.
I got a Hooey
Ooh,
IPA. It's a hazy,
nice.
crazy, juicy, hazy Hooey.
Ooh,
This IPA is hopped with a ridiculous amount of the juiciest hops available. In order to bring you the most hop flavor possible, we intentionally leave yeast and hop oils in the beer by not filtering them out.
all right.
Some may say that's a lot of hooey. What the hell do they know anyway?
It's good copy.
It's a good question. I gotta hand it to companies that are not afraid to go blue
Yeah,
on their
that's
their
right.
copy.
HE double hockey sticks right on the label.
I mean, what is this, like a rated G movie in 1977?
Exactly.
1977 G movies were like, hey, what the fuck is going on over here? Probably dropping a couple N words in there
Right.
too.
It's like a kid committing murder or something.
Yeah, I think Bad News Bears. Do you remember Bad News Bears?
I do.
Pretty
Is
sure
that PG?
pretty sure that movie had the N word in it. It's just like, come
Not great.
on. No, it's even still, like, if you got a kids movie, just maybe, don't
Don't do it.
just don't.
But the year is not 1977, Andrew.
No, it's not.
It's 2021.
It is.
Coming to a close very
yes.
shortly. Trash year after an even more trash year maybe before it.
Yeah.
Certainly probably a trash year coming.
Time to take out the trash.
Garbage day. And in looking back on 2021,
Sure.
we got some albums of the year to discuss.
Damn right.
This has been a tradition each season on the pod, going through some of our faves.
Yes. I feel like we should say there's a clarification. When we talk about albums of the year, I feel like talking about favorite albums, not necessarily saying us is as some sort of encyclopedic, like, John and I have listened to every possible available album. Like, these
Right.
are the albums that have meant something, the 10 albums each that have meant something to us.
Yeah.
The ones that we've found ourselves listening to a lot.
I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff that we're both missing. I have a long list of honorable mentions, as I always do.
Sure.
Even still, tons of stuff that's obviously...
It was a good year.
It was a good year.
was
I'm
a
looking
good year
at this
for music.
list. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Now, you had predicted we would perhaps only have two overlapping. I wonder. I feel like I have a sense of which two you're thinking of. I think it might even be 3.
Okay, we'll see.
So we'll go through these.
Okay.
How should we do this? How do we normally do this? I forget. Do we go back and forth?
Well, the thing is, like, you have...
I rank mine.
You ranked yours. I do not rank.
Yeah.
I threw mine into a Spotify playlist.
Okay. Should we trade off with each entry?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Why don't you go first?
I will start at number 10, work my way up.
Well, how about we say this? If you say an album that's on my top 10,
Okay.
should I mention it or say like that's that's in my top 10 as well? Just so we don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that makes sense. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about every one of these records on the pod at some point this year.
Sure.
One of which is my number 10, Bo Burnham's Inside.
Ooh.
I feel like I wasn't really considering it as like a proper album for most of the years. I was thinking about what might be on this list, but I was like, I feel like I often kind of reserve my number 10 for like film scores or sort of things that are a little outside the ordinary of typical albums. And if I'm being honest about what I listen to the most, I listen to this album a lot. I loved the special itself, but I think I only actually watched the full thing once, whereas I listened to the album many, many times. There's such catchy songs. And yes, they're funny, but they're also like, he's just an incredibly accomplished hook writer and proficient musician in addition to being a comedian and a filmmaker and all this stuff. And so anyway, I feel like his special Inside and the album that came out of it is such a like, will always be a time capsule of like this last year or two for me. And so linked to this time period, and the songs are all jams and they're also funny and they're also like inquisitive and sort of ponderous. So anyway, I love that record.
And I invoked his name in a recent episode about how it was bullshit that he did not qualify for comedy album.
And he didn't get nominated for anything else either, right? I mean, it's not like...
It's just like...
you weren't comedy, so you're pop or whatever, but it's obviously a comedy album. Why wasn't it qualified?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Because the Grammys are bullshit?
That is the answer.
That is the only answer.
Yes.
The Copyrights. Alone in a Dome.
I don't even know them.
No?
They're
They're a local band to you.
Okay.
I mean, they're a Chicago area, Chicago burbs.
All right.
If I'm not sure exactly.
Carbondale.
Yeah.
Not far from me. All right.
They haven't put out an album since 2014.
Okay.
And so for me, it was like, this is, I was really excited about it, and they fucking killed it. It is, if you like, they're not exactly Ramones core,
Sure.
you know, but they're, if you like that sort of, if you like Screeching Weasel,
Yeah.
and that like Teenage Bottle Rocket or Masked Intruder, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Chicks Dig It.
Yeah.
Then you would love this record.
Cool.
It's so hooky. I'm super into it, and I pretty much one of those albums that like from beginning to end, there's not a skippable track.
Sure.
On this record. So,
I will definitely check it out. Was definitely wrong also, by the way, about Carbondale. That is very much in southern Illinois. I was thinking of like Carpentersville or something being near me. But anyway, copyrights.
Yes.
Copywriters?
Copyrights.
We'll check them out.
Copyrights. Get it right.
Copyrights.
Get it right or pay the price.
It's I hope we never copyright. Okay. My number 9. Texting about this week in unfortunate circumstances. Lingua Ignata.
Yes.
Her record Sinner Get Ready. As we were texting about, you know, and as she's talked about with this album and with kind of the press around it, she has experienced throughout her life abuse from a relationship she was in, and this past couple weeks she named the guy from Daughters, the lead singer, as being the one who had been in this relationship with her, that most of this record that deals with the abuse that she you know, put up with in this relationship was about. So really kind of horrifying details of what she went through and overcame in these in the statement that she released, and certainly took some courage and strength to be able to make those claims. And other women have since you know, shared similar stories. So I think we've talked about Daughters on the pod as well as being like a terrifying band that we also really respond to their music. I mean, they're doing such interesting things, but I mean, some of the stuff that she talked about, this guy having done truly awful and horrifying. So,
and I feel like if that is something that is you're sensitive to or triggered by, if you do end up being curious about the story and wanting to look it up, I just want to give you that word of caution that it's not your. This is some pretty fucked up stuff. So pretty horrific things. So
definitely. And the album is largely about experiencing some of that. You know, it's terrifying and beautiful at the same time, and also just like fascinating. You know, it's got a mix of noise and metal, not sort of unlike Daughters, but also has like an opera element to it. It's
so theatrical.
It's very theatrical. It's very like sort of reinterpreting liturgy and hymns. She sort of puts on like services when she does shows. So it's very much both about unpacking her relationship with Christianity and the ways that the church is tied up with misogyny and violence, and equating relationships with her experience with church. But it's really, really heavy stuff. And you mentioned another one of the albums on my list as being one that you couldn't get through. I think there's something to the idea of like, I didn't throw on Lingua Ignota over and over again this year. Right. But every time that I did, I was like, God, I love this album and what she's doing. It's so weird and interesting. There's so many interesting songs back to back. Like you're saying, there aren't really songs that I want to skip, but it's also so heavy and intense that it wasn't one that I was throwing on a ton. Right. But I can't not like reckon with what she's done artistically. So Lingua Ignota, Sinner Get Ready, my number 9.
Yes. So again, in no particular order, Nice One by Catbite.
Okay.
Philly ska punk band. This album is great. They're one of those, I feel like in the sort of this current wave, this newer era of ska punk bands that are coming out in more recent years. And I know Danny Leary will take issue with the waves, that waves don't exist in music because no other genre talks about waves. But for lack of a better term, in this particular era of newer ska punk bands that are coming out, they are really tight. Brittany, the lead singer, I love her voice.
Yeah.
I really feel like they're one of the tighter bands. And I don't know how many people out there, how many people listening follow Anthony Fantano on the Needle Drop on YouTube and his music reviews, but he's like a pretty influential music reviewer on the internet, and he recently reviewed this album, which is not an insignificant thing because he does some sort of lesser known stuff, but the fact that he's reviewing a ska band, and that he really liked it. So in his scale, he does like the 1 to 10, but if it's something he hates, he just gives it a not good.
Right.
But pretty much anything 7 and up is an album that he really likes.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of people will get upset if he gives an album a 7 because it's like,
right.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't like it. It's
yeah.
But he gave this album a 7.
Okay.
And to keep that in mind, he gave Kendrick Lamar's "Damn" a 7.
Yeah, that was wrong.
But but still, like, this is. He was very complimentary of this record, which was very exciting to see a ska album in 2021 being given a really fair review.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's so easy to dismiss ska, but I'm seeing Catbite and Jeff Rosenstock this next year
Yeah, man.
at First Avenue, and I'm super fucking pumped about it.
Yeah, as you should be. I'm excited to hear about that. Good pick. My number 8, also a female-fronted band, Amyl and the Sniffers.
Ooh, yeah.
Comfort to me. I've talked about them several times on the pod. Old school, raw punk sound that I love, kind of that like 70s punk, carrying on in that legacy. I got into them with their debut self-titled record, which came out in 2019. So I was eagerly awaiting this new one, and it did not disappoint. It definitely brought them some new attention to, with the song Guided by Angels. They're from Australia. They're kind of that pub rock sound, fronted by Amy Taylor. She's just got great kind of energy and vocal sound, and I love the kind of raw, simple punk sound they do, and I am going to see them in a couple months.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Excited for that. Number 8.
My next one, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Ooh, yeah.
When God Was Great.
Yeah.
You're gonna find a lot of ska
Love
on
it.
my top 10.
Your top 10 ska albums of the year.
Yes. So this was an album that was not like immediately like I liked it, but it wasn't immediately like holy shit.
Right.
But like as the more I listened to it, the more it grew on me, and because this is, you know, the Boss Tones were kind of that band that started the whole ska core thing.
Right.
But compared to some of the other bands that I have on my list, the Boss Tones sort of branched out and did some newer stuff on this record that almost is, some of it almost feels country adjacent. And I'm really into that. They do, their arrangements on this record are a little bit different than what I think some people come to expect from the Boss Tones. Of course, they also have The Final Parade, their song that has Amy and Interrupter and Tim Armstrong, and so it's got some good folks coming in. But some of the songs on here that kind of jump out to me, like Lonely Boy is probably one of my favorite songs. Certain things,
Yeah.
it's got that like
rules.
that's got that little bit of a country thing.
Yeah.
And he talks about like how he almost bought a gun, and how he's like, for people that know me, that's like like that. I think he's just sort of like talking about a lot of the shit that had been going on in the last couple of years, and how like things are really challenging and tough, and being pushed to places where you're just like, man, being pushed to a spot where you're like, I never thought I would get to this place where I like thought would think about this, and you know, so I don't know, I feel like this is among the Boss Tones fans, maybe not like a favorite, but the more I listened to it, the more I got into it.
I love it. I listened to it a couple times when it came out and liked it, but it didn't really like stick around for me. I need to spend some more time with it.
Sure.
But I do enjoy it, and I like that they're, you know, trying new stuff like you're saying.
Yeah.
Not just releasing a, you know, no effort record at this stage in their career, which
Right.
they could do.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 7, Turnstile, Glow On, the record, which is not going to make your list. We've talked about them on the pod. For me, it just became one of those albums that I couldn't stop listening to all year. It's only been out for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months or something, but like I just kind of kept returning to it over and over. And, you know, I sought it out because I saw so many people talking about it. I had heard of them before this record, but this is their 4th album. Hadn't really spent much time with them. Really liked this record, and I feel like the attention it's been getting is warranted. They're kind of a post-hardcore sound, so there's a lot of shout-alongs, a lot of kind of punk rock choruses, but there's also these weird psychedelic you know, avenues they explore too occasionally, and that kind of mix of weird things while always being listenable, I thought was really fun. So, Turnstile, Glow On, at number 7.
Also, going from that, my next one is a post-hardcore band, Quicksand, Distant Populations.
Cool. Yeah.
When I heard the song Colossus, I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I immediately was like latched on to this record, New York City post-hardcore band. They've been around since the early 90s. And I immediately was like, I'm pre-ordering this record wherever it is. And so it's just that big, you can imagine, like in my mind, I just imagine a big wall of sound, just great hooks, great riffs, that sort of post-hardcore sound, that just big without being like, you know, no breakdowns, no screaming, just big heavy rock post-hardcore riffs. So check out the album Distant Populations. Inversion, great song. Colossus, great song. I mean, the whole album is just great, but check it out.
That's a great call. That's another record that I have listened to and enjoy. I need to spend more time with, not because I didn't like it or anything, just because I kind of fell off my radar.
Because there's so much. There's so much.
But yeah, they definitely occupy, like you're saying, that sort of, I think of them as sort of helmety in terms of being like hardcore, but they're not doing a lot of like, it's just like heavy, loud chords.
Yes.
And, you know, maybe deceptively simple sounding, but really cool. So good pick. My number 6, Five Iron Frenzy. Ever heard of them?
I have, because they are also my next one on my list.
Perfect. Until This Shakes Apart. We've talked about this album for hours on this podcast. You can go back and listen to our multiple episodes on our feelings on it, on the making of it. And this sounds like kind of silly to repeat again, but I feel like proud of them. I mean, obviously they're a band that's meant a lot to us for a long time, and we did a whole season of a podcast about them. But at this point, a lot of these guys are our friends, and they're trying stuff, and I'm just like, I'm so impressed with what they're doing musically these days. And, you know, even if it doesn't quite mean as much to me as Engine of a Million Plots, I feel like they're trying really interesting things with this record, and I love the dub direction that they went in for it. And we've talked about all this, but it's a extremely solid contender among all these albums, not just because they're a beloved band of ours, but because it stands up against these other records as like a really, really impressive musical accomplishment. I
was going to use the word accomplishment because I feel like they did accomplish quite a bit lyrically, not just what Reese accomplished lyrically, because I mean that on its own is one accomplishment, but making the album cohesive in a lot of the themes, and that it was a really heavy record, and it said so much. There's not any dead weight on this record, and I don't think there's how much more we could say about While Supplies Last. And how much that song is a banger. And, you know, Renegades, and how it's just all just killing it. Just killing it.
All the themes in it that were resonant when it was released a year ago continue to be ever more resonant today, unfortunately. But, you know, when you talk about like this weird time that we've lived in the past several years, people have said like, well, you know, the art that will be created out of it will at least be like something helpful. And I do feel like this is art that sort of contends with the era we're living in. All right. Up to my top half. Number 5, Sufjan Stevens and Angelo DiAugustine, A Beginner's Mind. Sufjan not able to escape any sort of list I would make of my favorite records of the year. Perhaps not at all surprising to anybody that Sufjan found himself in here. He also released, like a 5-album cycle of instrumental music this year, which I probably would have put on if not for this record somewhere on my list. I'm just such a sucker for everything he does, but this is very much in the mold of sort of old school, lo-fi, folky, acoustic, pretty harmonies Sufjan. And his partner on this record, Angelo D'Agostino, is not somebody I was really familiar with, but also sort of comes from a folky, thoughtful background. And the sort of conceit of the album is that these two guys watched a bunch of movies together in a cabin in the woods and wrote songs about the movies that they watched. So all that stuff is just like Johnny Potter bingo. So it's a really interesting collection, I think, of songs about these movies that they wrote them about. And they're not all like obvious about the films that they chose, but I think it's not just like, here's an album full of typical Sufjan acoustic songs, although those are in there. I'm kind of impressed with the fact that although it's like a very chill record, they go in some really interesting directions. It's like a variety of lo-fi chill sounds, but they all work really well for me. And like you said, there's not really any that I ever want to skip listening to it. So Sufjan, my number 5.
Again, what you were just saying about a band that could never escape your tops of the year, Between the Buried and Me.
Yeah.
Colors 2, the sequel to their classic 2007 album Colors. Oh my God. Because I've talked about on the pod this year that when they were releasing some of the singles for this record, how pumped I was, especially Fix the Error, which was one of the singles. Revolution in Limbo was another single, and they are able to capture so perfectly the sound of Colors from 14 years ago. The albums sound, they're so perfectly matched for each other, and there are some lyrical things that tie the albums together, and some stylistic choices that are very much still in the BT Bam universe of like weird sounds or quick changes to a different musical style, going from like a like an intense prog metal to something bluesy or jazzy or avant-garde, like Tom Waits adjacent, throw in some cartoon sound effects, throw in just like a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm just like, this is quintessential BT Bam, and I love it. And to again, to go back to Anthony Fantano from the Needle Drop, who reviewed this record, who he is not, he's famously not a fan really of prog music, and before YouTube did away with the like and dislike ratio bar, man, he got ratioed on this review so bad. And it's just like, dude, like he couldn't have been more wrong about the way these albums mirrored each other so well. So I don't put all of my stock in people who review music because I know it's super subjective, but BT Bam is one of those bands where you can't fuck with the fans, because they prog fans and gent fans, like they will come for you. So, but amazing record, amazing accomplishment of a record, and I'm just thrilled that this album was not a bummer. Because
I know.
there's so much writing on it for me.
Yes.
And I think a lot of BT Bam fans, if it was like attaching Colors 2 to the album was just like, I mean, it's a choice,
Right.
but they, in my estimation, in my view, they killed it.
Yeah, I remember you saying before the record came out, this better live up to what they're, staking their claim to. And then when it came out, you saying there's no way that it wouldn't be on your albums of the year list. So it did it. I'm happy that it lived up to the hype for you. I hope you get to see them at some point soon. Anyway, okay, good pick.
Yeah,
my number 4, Sleigh Bells, Texas. Sure. I haven't seen this on anybody's year-end list.
Interesting.
I may be all on my own in my absolute love for this record. But Sleigh Bells, New York duo, sort of doing noise rock kind of elements of pop and metal and punk. Absolutely loved their debut record, Treats, which came out in 2010. This is their 5th record, and pretty much every record in between I was kind of like, just kind of doing sort of more of the same, didn't really work for me. I think this record really nails it in a way that I was excited about with their first album, where it's just like these, again, I didn't want to skip any songs listening to it. There were maybe some more artistically ambitious albums that I could have put this high, but I was just like, I just can't deny that I love listening to this thing front to back every time. I think it's really fun. I think it's exciting. So I think they just know their way around an exciting pop hook really well. So Sleigh Bells, number 4.
We just talked Element 101, and we're going back to Jersey, bro, because the best of the worst.
Okay. Yep.
Better Medicine. Do you like hardcore?
I do like hardcore.
Do you like ska?
I do.
They are
combine them.
equal parts, just huge riffs, breakdowns, screams, just brutal like hardcore. And then they got them upstrokes, they got them horns, they got it all, man. This album has everything. If that sounds interesting to you,
yes.
Counterfeit Smiles, their single from this record. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The first time I heard this, I'm like, it has everything you love in a hardcore song, and then all the things you love about a ska song.
Yeah.
So, I also love that they have like 3 different vocalists kind of trading off.
Yeah.
At least I think it's 3 different vocalists, because there's kind of 2 distinct screaming, singing voices, and then I don't remember the female vocalist, what her name is, but they just kind of go back and forth, and it works so well for me. So, best of the worst, Better Medicine.
I love it. This was another one that for me, their song on the Ska Against Racism comp is maybe my favorite song on that record, Illusion of Choice. Yeah. And I was so psyched going into the album after listening to that song so much, and it didn't quite live up to that song for me, but I do really like the album. But it's just another one for me where I'm like, I need to just spend more time with that and kind of go with it. It's on its own terms rather than like this like perfect song that I had built up. But you're totally right. That combo of hardcore and ska and political, I just feel like they really nail that combination of things. Really exciting band. Okay, number 3.
Yes.
This may be our only other crossover. Halsey?
No.
She did make the list.
No.
Okay.
She's on my honorable mentions.
If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power is the name of the record. I learned about the record from you, talking about it on the pod, and as I had said before, she's somebody I've been aware of, but wasn't necessarily somebody on my radar as like an artist to watch for necessarily. Kind of knew her as like a pop singer. And this album really like
it's very good.
Knocked me on my feet. Is that an expression?
Off your feet?
Off my feet, sure.
Or on your ass?
On my ass, somewhere.
Knocked your ass on your feet.
Yeah. I was knocked. And I just can't... this is another one that I just didn't stop listening to all year. I think it's full of bangers, cover to cover. And a major reason for that is that it's produced by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Is that his name? Of Nine Inch Nails. And it has a very, very Trent sound, and a Nine Inch Nails sound. And it basically is kind of like Nine Inch Nails combined with Halsey making a record. But I think it's a great combo because it kind of includes those Nine Inch Nails soundscapes and hooks, but combined with sort of this, the pop kind of sensibility of Halsey. And I really think it's a powerful combo of a lot of just like great pop songs, some of which are really dark sounding, some of which are big and operatic, some of them are sad and kind of ballady, but I think it's a great cohesive statement as an album, and now I'm really excited to kind of see what she does in the future. So ranked very high on my list, Halsey, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power.
Continuing the theme of ska punk on my list, Joystick.
Yep.
I Can't Take It Anymore.
Honorable mention for me.
I learned about this band from Brian Canberra.
Me too.
You're
turning into me.
Yeah, right. Rudy Librarian, Patreon punk, all around.
Librarian.
Do not bring cause.
No?
Don't bring the
I
cause.
shouldn't in your top few albums?
The rules got the skull and the punk and the joystick and the pudding down.
It's such a good album.
He sucks. But this album rules. So again, they also kind of a hardcore punk. Not necessarily the hardcore, but throwing in the hardcore punk.
Yeah.
And there are just some elements to this record that there are some influences on them that I can't quite pin down, that I listen to some of these songs. I'm like, there is something in here that I can't quite put my finger on, that it's reminiscent of some other bands, which is maybe why there are times where I'm like, I'm just so into this. But the opening of this record is so fucking good.
I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, man.
We can't go back. We can't go back to where we started.
Gosh.
So good.
So good, man.
If you open your album with gang vocals,
Yeah.
I'm fucking on board right away.
Yes. 100%.
So psyched.
Yeah.
And it's also like a super self-reflective record for the lead singer, talking about drugs and alcohol and addiction. And, I think that's why he starts off the album this way. Can't go back to the way things were, essentially. Like, he needs to be better. He's getting healthier. He used to be an alcoholic and an asshole, and he's, moving towards self-care and a healthier life. And I appreciate a lot of that honesty in my ska punk. So
Totally.
and just lots of bangers too.
Yes. I think, another ska punk band that we both love dearly, Suicide Machines.
Yes.
I see a lot of similarity between
They
these
would
two
be-
bands.
That would be a sick show.
It would, man.
Joystick and Suicide Machine show.
I am excited
That
at
pit
that
would be insane.
prospect. Yes, this came very close to making my list too. I think it's a great record. Really exciting ska punk sound. Loving all the ska on this list.
Oh man,
Way to go.
so good.
Okay, my number 2 will decidedly not make your list. Low, Hey What. Andrew calls it Couldn't Get Through It. I call it my number 2 album of the year. Again, kind of like what I was saying about Lingua Ignota. This is like an album to contend with. Am I throwing it on nonstop? No, but I did listen to it a lot. But I think it's just easily some of the most exciting work they've ever done. And for a band that's 30 years into their career, I think that's cool.
As I sit in your room looking at a
big old low poster
on the wall.
Yeah, I have talked about this on the pod before, but they started out as this quiet lo-fi harmony centric band, and now they're making these weird, swirling, glitchy soundscapes, making really bold choices. I think there is some stuff here that's like, okay, there's a minute of just sounds here that you can kind of skip through that part. But I think beyond that, they're doing something really interesting with noise and sound, and creating listenable pop songs even out of these elements that you're kind of like, whoa, what's happening, like with these harsh sonics at first. So I think if you're a fan of the band Low and kind of the direction they've gone in recent years, you will not be disappointed with Hey What.
I think I probably need to give it another chance and skip some of the parts that are just like just noise
for like a minute.
Yeah.
You can skip that.
I'm like, all right, okay, I get it, guys. You're very complex.
You're very artistic.
It's very artsy. I get it. Next for me, an album that came out like almost like pretty much at the very beginning of the year. I feel like this album was released on the first of the year. Circuit Boredom by Ben Queller. And Ben Queller's another one of those artists that kind of, if he releases an album,
Right.
I'm putting him on there because he's one of my favorites of all time. And this is, Ben Queller's one of those artists that to me, I will make an argument that he has not put out a bad record. I think everything that he does is strong. I think he's an excellent songwriter, and he also he's always trying something new. He's not somebody who just like does the same stuff over and over again. And this is his first record since 2015's Go Fly a Kite, which I love that record. And Circuit Boredom is a decidedly pop banger album. And so Stars and Just for Kids, I mean, it still has Heart Attack Kid is also very much a Ben Queller song. Like if you're familiar with anything he's done before, Heart Attack Kid is in that vein. But it's also a short record, but I love his voice. I love his style, and I love a Ben Queller pop banger, radio pop song. So I will always love it. So Circuit Boredom, check it out.
Good pick. I know he means a lot to you. I've always liked him, but I've never really done a true deep dive. So I think it's time.
It is
Queller o'clock.
It is, especially Changing Horses, his country record. Oh God.
Yeah.
If you love the little, I mean, throw on some Ben Queller, Changing Horses around a campfire. You're having a great time.
That sounds nice. Yeah. I've always appreciated his, he can play a lot of instruments. He can do a lot of different sounds. He's a really interesting artist. All right. My number one.
Ready?
You had me pegged with this one from the beginning, so you won't be surprised. But it's Lucy Dacus, Home Video. I think you said, is that our shared number two? All right.
No, this is your number one.
I know, but I mean our shared second.
Yes.
Album.
This is the one I knew. I'm pretty sure John's going to have this on his list.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that it's on there because I feel like in the context that you said, I know that you love this album, you were kind of like, yeah, okay, I don't know. I'm glad that it has resonated with you. I feel like it was maybe taking the Phoebe Bridgers sort of spots where you're like, I can't really deal with this.
No, but this is what I love. So Lucy, in the one third of the Boy Genius trifecta.
Yeah.
So Lucy and Phoebe and Julian, they all have a different kind of writing style.
Yeah.
Lucy is a storyteller.
Yes.
And I connect with that in a different way. That she's setting a stage, she's putting it out there, like the story, so I can follow along, I can visualize all of what she's saying. especially a lot of stuff about growing up in the church
Yeah.
and a song called VBS and talking about feeling betrayed by a friend who had sex for the first time and going to these church services and hearing about how you're a sinner and having a friend who has a shitty relationship with their dad and how you're like, I will do anything for my friend, including putting my thumbs through his eyes.
Right, which she says repeatedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, if you want me to, I will kill him.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just such a wonderful coming of age
Yeah.
record. And I just, the more I listen to it, I'm just like, this is so good.
Yeah, man.
And then when I was like, wait a minute, she's 25.
I know, it's not
I'm just
fair.
like, that's not
I
fair.
feel like all three of those boy geniuses are way too young to be making music that they're making.
And because they're geniuses.
Right.
And you're just like, wait, you're so good. Oh my
yeah.
God. You're all three of you are so good.
Yeah. I don't mean to just immediately link Lucy to Boy Genius, but it's kind of hard not to, because all three of them have like really dominated.
They've come into their own.
Yeah. Julian Baker's on my honorable mentions for this year. But yeah, Phoebe was my number one last year. Lucy's my number one this year. I just feel like, yes, she is that kind of folky singer-songwriter thing, which you could maybe dismiss as being like, okay, more sad, folky songs. But it's all super catchy too. She's being really vulnerable throughout the record, as you're talking about, but there's a real variety of songs. Like, it's not just acoustic ballads. She's going hard. She's using even like auto-tune and
that
some
VBS part,
Yeah.
where like she talks about like cranking Slayer up.
Yeah.
And then like the guitar comes in
in,
really
yeah.
heavy.
It
It's
rules.
so good.
I definitely had a pretty set list of albums, but I went all back and forth the last several months with what would end up where, and this is my number one just because I'm like, this is the undeniable sort of, I listened to it all year, I love every song on it, it never sort of faded for me. I think it's a real strong mix of different kinds of songs, but as you said, very tied together with stuff that resonates maybe particularly for us.
Yeah.
Lots of songs about exploring trauma of Christian youth culture and the sort of relationship strains that wrought. And I think she deals with the fallout of that in a really interesting way. So yeah, Lucy Dacus, very glad she's on both of our lists, and that's it for both of us, right?
Yes.
Should we get to those menchies?
Those menchies, honorable menchies.
Yeah.
An artist that I learned about from our boy Scott Kerr.
Ooh.
He texted me and he's like, have you heard this record by this guy from the UK named Sam Fender? 17 Going Under is the name of the record. And
I want a text from Scott. Why hasn't Scott texted me about it, Sam Fender? Called out, bro.
it's if you like Bruce Springsteen, if you like that new Killers record,
Yeah.
that sort of Americana rock, pop rock anthem, Sam Fender, 17 Going Under. This album is crushing in the UK. And the more I listen to it, I'm like, I'm very into this. An album that I have not given enough time to because of literally every other record that's come out that I've been
Right.
like, is the new Idols record.
Yeah, it's on my honorable mentions too.
I haven't had, and it's funny because the last times we've done this, I think
Yes.
they've both, the Idols record has been in our top records, but this year not so much. I think just because everything, it got lost in all the other stuff.
It kind of did. Yeah. I mean, yes, you had Joy as an Act of Resistance in your top 10 in 2018. I didn't because I hadn't really heard it at that point, but it would certainly be on my list if I could kind of redo it now.
And then
last year we both had Ultramono.
Ultramono, yeah.
And I loved Ultramono. I mean,
Yeah.
another kind of that's a heavy record, but it just hit me really hard.
Yeah.
And this one, I mean, Crawler came out only like a month ago.
Yeah, it's
kind of
newish.
snuck under the radar, and the first couple times through, I was just kind of like, nah, I like it. It's just not moving me the way those last couple records did. So.
You know, and in the first time I heard Beachland Ballroom, I was like, this is an interesting single. and they a lot of slow burns on this record.
It's a slow album.
It's a very slow burn, lots of building. The Jeff Rosenstock Ska Dream, the ska version of his 2020 record No Dream, which is he just took his 2020 album and made it all ska.
I love it.
And great. Felt like a cheat to include that.
Sure.
Another album that relatively new that I felt like I need more time with, so I couldn't necessarily put it on my list. Adele's 30.
Yeah, I'd consider that.
The opening track,
Yes.
Strangers by Nature.
Really good.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on this record. I feel like
Yes.
this is the Adele version of the Lingua
Lingua Ignota.
Lingua Ignota.
That's a good comparison.
Just a wrestling with a relationship.
Yeah.
Obviously not as necessarily
Sure.
as traumatic
Yeah.
or anything, but still Adele writes very honestly, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. The first couple songs on that record, I was like, oh, wow, is this going to be my favorite album of the year? And then, like, a lot of it eventually kind of got into more sort of typical Adele territory, seemingly for me, which I like, but just isn't at that level of, like, wow, like really being floored by it, like you're saying. So,
Yeah. And an album that I listened to because of Jason, shadow producer,
yes.
We Were Sharks, New Low.
Yeah.
And
Into it.
I was like, this is a cool. It's similar to there's a Tooth and Nail band that I am blanking on at the moment that I will look up that has there are moments where I'm like, this sounds exactly like them, but so yeah, those are a handful. I'm sure there are more. I didn't write all of them down, but like some off the dome, those are some of my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Agree with all those. Good picks. I agree also that I'm sure there's tons of others that I'm forgetting about or whatever, but Idols, as you said. Joystick didn't make my list, but is in there as a mention. Julian Baker, as we talked about, same. The Armed, another band I think we've talked about in the pod.
They're Detroit?
Are they Detroit? They are a hardcore band who is doing... Yes, they're from Detroit. Really interesting stuff. I mean, talk about, like, sort of bold noise albums. They make great sort of hardcore songs, but there's also just, like, a lot of, like, intense sonic heaviness to sort of get through as you're listening to them. But really interesting stuff. I probably like their last record a little more than this one, but I like this one a lot. Face to Face.
Oh, shit!
That should probably be in your mentions,
Oh,
too.
my God, yes. Yeah. That, again, when that album came out, I was listening to that a lot.
I know, and then there's just so
fucking
much.
blanked on that.
Yeah, and I only had it
man.
in here because you told me that it existed,
Yes,
and it's a lot of fun. If you like
that's-
Face to Face, you're going to like this album.
Yeah, if you like anything the face-to-face stuff,
Yeah, no,
it's a
I'm-
face-to-face record.
It sounds great. And not in a way that's like, oh boy, boring, more of the same. Like, oh, they've really captured that song, that sound I loved from like 25 years ago.
Those whoa-whoa-whoas, they
Oh,
got
yeah,
them.
Yeah, they have such a great, unique sound. Wolf Club, a band I know I've talked to you about. They're very much synthwave. That's Johnny Potter hammock, summertime, having a great time with some synths. Magnified, who I just talked about recently on the pod, Swedish punk band, into that record, as I mentioned. Silk Sonic, another record we've both talked about.
Yes.
Really fun, kind of breezy, and then just straight up bops, kind of old school R&B sound from Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak teaming up.
I to be honest, I was that would say that'd be on my honorable mentions. It's
the album didn't quite live up.
It
to
didn't
the
live up
no,
to the singles.
I agree.
And it's still good.
Yes,
It's still good. It's like I wouldn't say it's
it
not
sounds
a bad,
great.
It's not a bad record. It's just I was really hoping.
pumped.
I was
Yeah, I
really
agree.
hoping for more.
Agreed.
It's short too. Was it like 8 or 9 songs?
It is short. But definitely fun to throw on in a party or in the car with the window down or whatever.
Or when you're smashing.
When you're smashing, obviously. Speaking of smashing, Jasmine Sullivan.
Yes.
Is she on your radar at all? Hotels?
Yes. I was listening to that album recently.
It's great. Another one that I kind of only knew about because everybody was talking about it. She wasn't somebody I was familiar with, but really, really great R&B songs. Just like incredibly well executed, sexy, like we're talking about. Music to smash by. Hotels for her own.
We should
mission.
we should say as I think it's HEAO
Yes.
or HEAUX or something like that.
That's how the internet's spelling it these days.
Yeah.
But a lot of fun. Really, really. I mean, I'm a Prince enthusiast, and if there are others out there, you will enjoy this record. Finally, Tyler, the Creator. I've kind of gone back and forth with him over the years, and Wolfgang and all that stuff, but I think he's doing something really interesting on this record, and just always a really interesting producer of hooks and interesting sounding songs. So a really good a package of hip-hop songs from him on this record. That's it.
Yep. I should say the We Were Sharks Tooth and Nail reference band I was thinking of was Anberlin.
Okay.
So
Cool.
there are some moments on that new We Were Sharks record where I'm like, this is so Anberlin. It's crazy.
I like it.
Yep.
Those are good lists.
Hey, what are your
Yes.
Magpod Nation? What are your top albums
Let us know.
of the year? Let us know. Hey, so John, this EP came out last year. And it's great.
It is great. Should we take a little break and then talk about how great it is?
I think we should. Yeah, we'll take a little break. When we come back, we will be talking Hangnail's 2020 EP, Christmas Hymns.
Hi, I'm Liam Hooper.
And I'm Peterson Toscano. Together, we co-host the Bible Bash podcast. Each month, we look into a different ancient story. We're curious to find insights into our own queer lives. We discuss these and share our findings with you.
You can find the Bible Bash podcast pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts.
New episodes come out at the end of each month.
And we're back talking briefly
Yes.
about that Hangnail, talking that Christmas Hymns, that 4-song EP that came out last year. A breezy 12
Breezy.
minutes.
4 songs, but you know what? Packs a punch.
Oh, man.
I don't need too much more than that, although I would take more.
I would take more. Because, Bad Religion put out,
Full album.
maybe 8 or 9 songs on their Christmas songs record.
Grave Robber, as we heard. Eight or so songs there.
An iconic Christmas record.
Weezer's got a great Christmas record. As we said, this is our first Hangnail ep. We were going to dive in with their debut, as we normally do, doing things a little differently this time to get to the Christmas record. But just a little bit of background, a little context for this album, and then, we can dive deeper into them next time when we get into their actual debut. But Hangnail, fellow Midwesterners, formed in Kenosha, Wisconsin in 1993. As we've said, not a ton of Midwest representation on the pod for us, so they're another exception to that. They existed for a decade, broke up in 2003, and then got back together last year and released this. So that was exciting. I remember we were anticipating it, and then when it came out, we were both kind of like, wow, that was surprisingly great.
I think for some bands that are disbanded for a long time, to come back and be this
Right.
tight.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
it's a
but the
comeback
thing is-
for a Christmas record where
Yeah.
you're kind of like, is this going to be good? Yeah.
No, and they killed it. The thing about Hangnail, and I've mentioned this a lot,
Yes.
is they are a band known for their
Shredding?
the shredding, their
Yes.
fast guitar work, how tight they are.
Yeah.
And I was just immensely impressed with how after so many years
Yep.
coming back and just being like, wow, you sound better.
Right. Yeah.
You just like, but and to come back too and to have 4 songs that just are great, and they're not, of course, "Oh Come All You Faithful" and "Oh Holy Night" are kind of like
Yes.
standards, but to have "One Small Child" and "I Wonder As I Wander"
I had the same note.
are not. It's not the typical.
Right.
So I appreciate that.
Yes.
You get some of the familiar and you get some of the less familiar, and I think that's a great way to go about such a short E EP.
Totally agree. When I think about the sort of stretch of Hangnail records, which we'll get into next month to close out the season, I think about that intricate technical guitar riffs as being kind of the standout. We talked about trying to learn these guitar parts as kids and having a hard time with that. Hangnail, not a band I knew super well growing up, so it's been really fun to dive into these. And even if that was always an element in their records, the production was not always at the level that it is at now for this EP. So to
Right.
have the production be so strong and their playing still be so proficient and interesting is a great combo. We should say the band in 1983 and still today was Mike Middleton on lead vocals and bass. Interesting combo, the Mike Herrera special. Nick Radovanovic, if I'm saying that right, on lead guitar and background vocals, just shredding his ass off. Matt Wendt on rhythm guitar and background vocals, and Jacob Diosamagan on drums. Diosamagan? Yeah.
Is he Dutch?
It could be.
I don't know.
Happy put the candy in your clogs season to him or whatever. Isn't that a Dutch thing?
Sure. Are they? He's too busy with his finger in the dike.
Right.
Isn't that the Dutch thing?
Yeah, I think so. Sounds great.
Sorry, Jake.
He is out. Pretty impressive that they kept their lineup intact the whole time and then still today. But yeah, this record was released December 4th of 2020 on Tooth and Nail, which again, another maybe unusual thing that a lot of these bands we cover who were on Tooth and Nail don't necessarily come back to Tooth and Nail 20 years later. They did. And this record rules. Sounds great, sounds clean, but sounds, packs punch, as I said, when it needs to. It hits hard. And I couldn't find much about the sort of production of this, like the recording or many details about it. But, I think as far as maybe why they did the songs, we've talked about this on the pod a couple times, that like Christmas songs work great for punk.
Yeah.
For the same reason that we cited for those other bands we talked about. It's just great melodies, songs that are strong enough to sort of be interpreted lots of ways. But the harmonies and the melodies are a particularly good fit for punk rock in a lot of sort of classic Christmas songs. And I think sound great here. His vocals, too, are another thing we'll get into, which maybe early on sounded a little thin for me. I feel like they sound great here. They're very full. Couple of vocal guest appearances we'll get into. Some dudes we're familiar with who also sound great.
Yep. Are you talking about a couple dudes we've talked about this very season?
Yes, indeed. What better way to close than by hearing some of our old pals from a long season?
At least one pal.
They're pals. We like them.
No, I mean just like
might be a one-way street.
There's their assessment of us.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, super fun. Should we dive in?
Yes, I think we should. A Christmas classic. Hangnailified. Oh Come All Ye Faithful.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come,
This is my number 2.
Me too.
God, it's sort of you're come to expect this on just about any, but Bad Religion does this as well, but some of the stuff that they do to kind of switch it up, and what I love about punk rock versions of hymns or Christmas songs is that it really accentuates the chord progressions and the melodies so well. Things that might maybe be a little bit slower and more subtle, and a more classical version of this. They especially like the minor chords really pop out on this song, and the drums too. Everything on this song just like explodes out the gate.
We're opening up that Christmas pit right out the gate here. And I gotta say, it's been too long for us to be playing air drums and guitar next to each other in person.
Well, what's the Hard Times headline? Like the punk rock father won't let kids open up the pit till Christmas morning.
Yeah, so great. You got to do it with this song. Yeah, I love how fast it is. It's so driving. I love that little acapella dropout. Anytime that happens on the record, where like the kind of choir of voices comes in, it's great. Short and sweet too. 2 minutes, get in, get out.
We need to get to that little shreddy part.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
guitar sounds awesome as always.
Yeah. $2 and some change. Get in, get out. It's a winner.
Yep.
One Small Child featuring Josh Kimball.
Hey,
Dogwood.
Cool.
This will be my number 3.
Same here.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna have the same.
I think so.
But we were sort of talking a little bit off pod that we feel like Josh's vocals sound better. Like just in this, like he sounds great.
He really does.
We're a little rough at times on Dogwood when we covered them, and that his vocals could be very hit or miss.
Yeah.
But this sounds great. I think he works really well, kind of bouncing off Mike.
Yes.
And I think they're good. They're a good combo. Mm-hmm. They'd make a great like punk rock duo, dual vocals situation.
They're different, distinct kinds of voices, and hearing Josh come in is like, oh, there's that Dogwood sound. That sounds so cool here.
Into it.
And then he does that thing where he moves his voice up like singers do,
Yeah.
like when you're singing, and it sounds really good.
Like when you're talking, but like you move it up and down a bit.
It's louder and longer. No, but I just when he goes up, I just like something about like his register there like works so well for me. He sounds great. Again, just driving, fun. It's cool tambourine that comes in on the chorus that kind of drives that. Great melody throughout. Now this song, what's your relationship to David Meese?
None.
Non-existent. As was mine.
We're bros, bro.
me and Misi?
Well, Misi here? Let me just text him real quick and be like, what's up, bro?
I always thought this song was older. Like, I thought this song was like, I've heard, choral versions, and I assumed this predated 1993 or whatever it was when CCM singer David Meese made it a hit. But the song is great. I mean, the original song sounds very synthy in a not un-Smitty way. But I think it sounds cool. And it's a great melody. I mean, there's a reason why this song has been done by like choirs, and it's because it sounds older.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's a cool entry as one that you don't always hear, as we were saying. And I think a punk rock version accentuates the kind of minor elements like you're saying, and kind of the mysterious sound of it a little more. It's just a really interesting melody. Then there's
they could have done Mary Did You Know?
Yeah, which
a Mark Lowry classic.
I prefer this. Lil Marky should do it. Mary Did You Know?
Woof.
Mary, did you know that I would grow up to be a messiah? And it's because I wasn't a burden.
Oh, Little Marky, you can't ruin our Christmas. No, I was going to say like a great bridge, if you want to call it that, where they bring in We Three Kings.
Yes.
A cappella. That's at like 108 if we want to hear it.
They do some
this,
mashups on this record,
they do.
which I appreciate.
Star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding.
So good.
I mean, the acapella into the harmonies, into the toms, and then Josh coming in with the shouts in a bit. It just rules. Yeah.
Great.
Very cool.
And to our shared number 4.
Yes.
I Wonder As I Wander, which another entry into the lesser covered.
Into it.
Yep, into it. Definitely into it. But it's a decidedly 4 on the list.
Agreed. It doesn't hit at quite the same level. It's also not going as hard and fast. But
Yes.
I mean, as you said, it's another cool one that you don't always hear. I feel like it makes a great punk song. Like those cool kind of haunting melodies here work well. There's a sweet shreddy guitar solo later. But yeah, as a whole, doesn't really stand out as much as the others to me. Dude,
This
can
is-
shred.
Dude, I think I've said many a times on the pod throughout the time that we've been recording that the one time I saw Hangnail at Heart and Soul, just like
pretty great.
Just seeing the shredding, just shred my face off, bros.
Shred it right off.
Okay,
it's great.
Shared number 1.
Yes.
It seems pretty basic to choose Oh Holy Night, but you know what? They got our boy.
They do.
John Warne.
He's in there.
Minnesota's son. Coming in. Our Mr. Ace himself, joining the boys from the Nail Oh Holy Night.
Got the bells. So good.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is a night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh hear the angel voices, oh night divine, oh night when Christ was born. Truly he taught us
Like
to
butter.
love one another. His law is love and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name.
Oh my God, John Warne just
Crushing it.
sing right into my heart.
Just
beauti-
velvety, smooth.
You beautiful man.
He sounds wonderful.
This is why I think having like dual vocalists,
Yes.
like having Josh
Yeah.
and John, like they have such distinct
Yes,
voices, like
totally.
going up after Mike to like sing their verses. It just like it pops.
Yep.
It's it's like that Blink 182. You got your Tom, you got your Mark.
Yep.
Just very distinct. You know who's singing what, and it just sounds great. I love it. I love this song, but we can't forget the Carol of the Bells
No, we got
portion
that part.
of this song.
Gotta hear it.
Do you have the timestamp on that?
252, I think.
Okay, this is the part that sells this
Yes.
song.
Proclaim.
Yes,
So good. Ugh, amazing.
so good.
Yeah, I feel like, as you're saying, John and Josh bring in very distinct, unique sounds, adding to what is already a sound different from both of theirs. They bring different energy to it, but he just sounds so great here. And like him coming in for the second verse and then again with the high harmony at the ending, it just like totally sells it. But I'm already a sucker for this song. This is like one of my very favorite Christmas songs already.
Right.
But they do so many different interesting, cool things here. That opening, I feel like that melody, like, is that from something else? The like dun dun dun.
But to have not only like the bells, but like
Yeah,
the
there's jingle bells,
the jingle
there's
bells,
church bells,
the church
there's
bells.
the guitar matching it. Like, I feel like that melody is from something, and I could not place it, but maybe it's an original. I absolutely love it.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, it works super great. And then, yeah, bringing in the church bells. in for like a thrill of hope, and then it's just the guitar and the jingle bells and the vocals for the fall on your knees. It's like just all so satisfying.
Yes.
But yeah, the slowing down into the metally Carol of the Bells is absolutely, plus the children's choir on top.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's
chills.
It has everything.
This song has everything. Yeah, and then back to that opening melody to close the song, like slower. So I love this song already. Whatever they were going to do with it, I would probably be into, but the fact that they did so many interesting things makes it our shared number one. So good.
John, today we are able to have a special guest. Talking to John Warne about his contribution to the Christmas Hymns record.
That's right.
And why he just sounds like a goddamn angel.
He sure does. Let's go to him now for more.
Yes, let's do that.
Thank you for making a little time for us today.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll just kind of talk through your experience of it. I don't know if there's anything in particular that you want to hit or avoid or whatever, but we'll keep it a short call. So
Fair enough.
The EP itself is like 12 minutes long.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
But welcome officially for the first time to Magnified Pod. Discussing Ace has, at least in my estimation, been one of the highlights of this season. And just being able to almost like cap off this season, talking to you about a recent project you did with Hangnail is just as kind of a wild thing in itself. But I guess one of our first questions would be, when did you first hear of Hangnail?
Oh yeah, I'll just say it was wild for me too. Just to hear from those guys again after all this time, and not doing a ton of music nowadays, so it's just awesome. When did we first hear them? We played our first show with Hangnail as Ace, and I want to say like 98, 99. We played in Madison. I think one of their friends was a promoter and invited us. That was like a long distance trip, for Ace from Minneapolis.
Minneapolis to Wisconsin, to someplace in Wisconsin.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I think so. Yeah, we played with them at some, I want to say a coffee shop or something, and then we played with them also at at their church. I'm getting the times mixed up a little bit. I think maybe that trip we just played with them for the first time for one show, but then we liked each other enough to want to do lots of more shows together, so we did. But I remember that one specifically because I got my tooth chipped by somebody that was a little bit too rowdy in the front row. Well, not that there were rows, it's a big circle.
Yeah. So that would have been before their first album even came out, where they were just like, you were hearing about this sort of up and coming band? Because I don't know, did they do any like EPs or anything before their first album came out? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if they released it, but I know that they had something with like, don't let the sun go down on your anger is, I want to say, one of the things that they had, like, because you do a ton of demos back then. Sure. I'm not sure that they had any music out at that point, but we, you get to know a lot of bands as you're like invited to different shows, back then. And at that point, kind of the stars were in a lot of kids' eyes with, the whole tooth and nail punk rock scene. And so, the two of our bands were some of those. And they were they were incredible even back then, before their first Tooth and Nail release. Just envious.
The shredding.
We would always be envious. Yes, not just the shredding, which is one of their most easily recognizable things about Hangnail, but the vocals, the harmonies. Mm-hmm. Goodness, everything. They were the kind of the complete package. So yeah, we always loved doing shows with those guys. And so at that point we were kind of like same trajectory, same focus, same I don't know. So we were kind of like brother bands at that point.
So when you first got involved with them last year, reuniting, working on Christmas hymns, how did that process come together? Did you know they were getting back together? Did you know they were working on this Christmas record? Like, how did you kind of first get involved with the EP?
Yeah, it was completely out of the blue.
Okay.
Mike sent an email asking if I'd like to sing on one of their songs. I was like, Hangnail's back, baby. That's amazing. And like, I don't know. I had tears in my eyes. Like, just, I felt so honored that, they would want to ask me, and just that, that relationship had stayed. So, I was just blown away, to be honest with you. So we just traded a bunch of emails back and forth. They sent the stems for the song, saying like, if you want to do, a verse or two, put some harmonies on there, just whatever you want to do, just do some stuff. And I thought it was kind of funny, like, do some harmonies on a Hangnail record? Sure. Okay. Like, what could I possibly bring to this? But, so I think I did like the second verse, and, there were a couple of spots maybe in the bridge. I want to say I did some oohs and ahs, and at the end I was like, I heard something, because the song keeps building higher and higher, and then at the end, like, I was like, I gotta just belt something. So I did a couple of different harmonies stacked on top of each other. I was like, there's no way they're gonna use this ridiculousness, but I think they used some of it, so that was fun.
That was the right call, because I feel like, I think that's our shared favorite song from that set of songs. They're already doing, like, I already love that song, but they're doing interesting things with the version of it. And then when your high harmony comes in at the end, it's just like the icing on the cake of like, this thing is officially now our favorite jam on this record. So I feel like having your voice come in, mixing with Mike's and kind of capping the whole song really makes the thing extra special. So,
yeah. And how did, so for what we talked about on this, about this EP, is that it's been like 17 years or something since they put out music, and how like tight they sound better. Like, I don't know how a band goes that long without putting out music and they just come back and they're just an absolute powerhouse still. It's so impressive. And then they had Josh Kimball on a song and had you on a song, and we were commenting that the blending of his voices with his voice with you guys, sort of, it's such a good balance, because you and Josh have such different styles of singing, different kinds of voices, but like everybody just sounds great all around. Everything just sounds awesome, and that song just blew me away. And so what were you thinking when you first, did you hear any of the other songs, or did you just hear just the Oh Holy Night stems?
Yeah, I think at that point, before I had started trying to sing on there, dusting off the pipes, I think I'd only heard those some of the tracks from that song. I hadn't heard anything else put together until Nick sent a couple back, after like he had polished up what I had done and sent it back. So I'm gonna be honest, I had a hard time singing on that song because of, like, Mike has such a strong voice, and his voice is in a way lower register than mine. So if I'm singing as low as he's singing, it sounds like I'm whispering almost, right? So I need the notes to be quite a bit higher for me to have any kind of oomph to it. Gotcha. So I was just pushing as hard as I could, and then when I heard that Josh was going to be on there as well. I was like, oh, well, it's all over now. That guy's voice is tough as crap.
It's a mix of different kinds of voices that works really well. So I'm glad we get to hear the variety.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short, man.
Yeah, man.
No, you sound.
Well,
Was it? Is "Oh Holy Night" like one of your favorites? I mean, how did you feel about the song beforehand as sort of a Christmas classic?
I have conflicted feelings on it.
Sure.
It is a beautiful song, right? Just however it's arranged and whoever is doing it, it's amazing. But my relationship is a little different where I want to say it was like 2006 or 2007. I was doing some animation for Relient K. And so we took, it was my idea to take this demo. We were given like a CD full of like demos that were, I would say ill-advised. And this was one of those. It was a guy singing to a great accompaniment. But he should have probably had a couple more passes in the studio. And so I took this track and I pitched it up and I made a reindeer sing it in an animation.
Right.
And so
Yes,
for me, since then, it kind of ruined the song for me. So like I tweeted out every year, like, hey, Merry Christmas. Let's whatever you can make of it now after listening to this. But this, the Hangnail one is a bit redemptive in that way,
Sure.
I will say.
Good.
Beautiful.
Do you think you got chosen for that because of that history, or do you think it was just they thought your voice would be a good fit?
After I sent in my my track for them, I let them know about that, and they had no idea. So
Okay,
I think they probably would have reconsidered had they known.
I think it all worked out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hangnail is back, hopefully working on some new stuff. That's the hope, that they don't just drop a 4-song Christmas EP and then disappear again. I mean, it kind of sounds like the streets are talking and saying like, Hangnail Ace reunion tour. I feel like that's what I keep hearing everybody say.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
they're saying
like
that.
That's what they're saying. The word on the street. Ace Hangnail reunion tour.
All of them hanging out in the metaverse talking about it.
Exactly. Man, the metaverse of Christian rock singers is really something we need to incorporate into the pod. Yeah, I mean, is there any chance of a new John Warne musical output in the near future? Anything like that in the works?
I mean, I would say never say never, but I just don't have a great answer for that.
Okay.
Once in a great while, I will get together with my buddies in Yellow Second, and we'll do a little something, garage band rehearsal. We just recorded a thing. I think you guys may have seen. We recorded like a 4-song thing for our buddy's 40th birthday.
Yes. Scott.
I've been meaning to put it online somewhere. Okay.
It's
awesome.
So great.
Yeah.
It's like everybody. I mean, the production just in itself just sounds great, but everybody just is just so solid, and Scott's voice is just amazing, and I love that you're hamming it up a little bit and in there. Did I think Scott said you edited it, right? Did you do the edit?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of had carte blanche on some of those terrible decisions that were made at
come on.
humor attempts. had to keep it interesting.
Well done.
It's great. Well, whether it's Ace or Yellow Second or whatever, we're hoping one of these days we can be lucky enough to see you do something, and if not that, we'll just hang out, have some beers or something, and at the very least.
I'm down for that. No, I super appreciate that, and I'll you guys would be the first to know.
Sweet.
Hell yeah, love it.
Thanks for talking with us.
Yeah,
man.
we don't want to take up any more of your time, but we appreciate it, and we hope you and yours have a great Christmas, and hope to see you up here in the Midwest at some point.
Indeed. Wish I were there to do a little three-way cheers with some eggnog right now.
Yeah, man.
That's right, man.
It'll happen one day.
One of these days.
For now, I'm just going to put on "Oh Holy Night" on repeat and rock out to myself.
There we go. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, John.
buddy.
Take care. I can't remember the last time a 12-minute EP was just so strong.
Yeah, I
just
agree.
like coming in so hard after what, 17 years? What was their last?
2003.
18
17
years?
Yeah, it's wild.
Gosh, so good.
Make a new album, Hangnail.
This is what I'm hopeful of.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's the Magpod wishing things into existence.
Right.
You know, we're coming out here. We're like, oh, we're gonna talk about this band. It's like, oh shit, they got some new musical,
New stuff. The fact that they all reunited and made this, what I assume was a well-received EP, is encouraging that maybe they'll do more. I haven't really seen anything from them over the last year since it came out, but
No.
I hope something is coming. This was super fun to cover. Good for the special, good as a first foray into Hangnail.
Yes.
We'll get more into them as we go.
Yes.
But yeah, curious to know folks' thoughts on Christmas hymns. We don't often overlap entirely, except for like very short EPs, so that makes sense. But you know, having the track for all four is
It's rare.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It's a Festivus miracle. We
We
got Festivus coming up, man.
That's true.
Very soon.
And I got a lot of things to say about all
Got
you
a lot of
people.
problems
What does
with
it
you
say?
people.
A lot of problems with you people.
Fight your father.
Let us know your problems with us.
Don't.
At Magnified Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't already and give us a rating or a review. We'll read your review on the pod. Email us at magnifiedpod@gmail.com.
You can leave us a voicemail at 872-762-4763, 8727-MAGPOD.
You can support us at the Patreon, patreon.com/magnifiedpod for bonus content and early episodes. My brain's starting to slow down. You can pick up some merch, magnifiedpod.storeenvy.com. Thanks to all of you for a great season and a great year. We're winding down here, but it's been a lot of fun. Thanks to shadow producer Jason at Unoriginal Vinyl specifically, and thanks to Heavy Ordnance Studios for our artwork. Well, our time in the Christmas tree box is over for this
Our
week.
time in the manger?
That's sure, yeah. We're popping out of there to rise and lead a nation.
Yikes.
Back out on that, I don't know, hill. Back out on the mount next week when we'll discuss. Not next week. We're going to take a little break.
Yeah. You know, Christmas and all.
Yeah, we'll take a pause. We'll come back.
We'll let you know when we're coming back.
Yeah, we'll finish out Hangnail. We'll finish out the season. May you all have a blessed and hot sauce centric holiday season.
Sure.
And yeah, we'll see you after the holidays.
killed it.
So good.
Perfect harmonies. Everything was flawless.
Yep.
For more shows like this one, visit rockcandyrecordings.com.